Hi there. Welcome to SERPzilla webinar. It's part of our SEO challenge. This year, it's our fourth webinar, and today we are going to discuss how to improve page load time and why it's important. We have wonderful specialists, wonderful experts in their field today. It's Craig Campbell, who you might be familiar from our previous events, and Pranav. So let's welcome Craig and Pranav. Guys, hi there. Hope you're doing good. So let's, Craig, tell our viewers who are not familiar with you a little bit about you.
Hey man, thank you, Alex, for having me once again. Hi guys, my name is Craig Campbell. I'm based in Glasgow, Scotland, and I've been in the SEO industry for 20 years. And yeah, I've done everything from being a freelancer, working in my bedroom. This is not my bedroom, by the way. I'm stuck in a hotel room. And I went on to build up a digital marketing agency, which I ran for about 10 years. And now I do a lot of affiliate marketing, buying and selling websites, and focus more on that side of things now. So, yeah, I've got a lot of experience gained and a lot of stories to tell. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy what I've got to say.
Thank you, Craig. Pranav, what about you?
Yeah, thank you, Alex, for having me on your show. So basically, I have almost 10 years of experience into this digital marketing industry. Started as a website development agency, and then a few of my clients have told me to why you are not doing SEO also and Google Ads also. So I started firstly Google Ads, and then slowly shifted into SEO part as because I was running an agency doing some development work, so clients have some sort of requirements, so our sales team have pitched them, and that's how things have started. And so far we have worked with a lot of clients, almost I guess 1400 clients I have dealt with so far, overseas Indian clients. And as per niche is concerned, doing like work for multiple niche. These days I'm majorly focusing on SEO and Google Ads. These two are major core areas of expertise, and as for like trying to generate as good result as I can for my clients. And in 2018 I have joined one institute also with the name of PIMS, that is basically in Delhi, and we teach students also, and Craig have done one session for our students also at same institute, right? So yeah, this is my journey, and it's been interesting 10 years. I have learned a lot, and so far still learning and trying to improve my skills as much as I can.
Thanks, guys. So let's get the show going. Craig, we'll start with you. Good luck, and I hope all our viewers will enjoy.
Thank you. Guys, obviously, we're going to talk about how to increase your website's loading time, which is obviously very, very important when it comes to SEO. So, hopefully, you guys can share my screen, see my screen that I'm sharing, sorry. And yeah, I'm going to show you a couple of good, really important things that are going to help you improve your loading speed. Now, there is a blog post and many of them out there, and I'm going to quickly talk you through how you can improve. Now, HubSpot have a nice blog post on it which go over some statistics and whatnot. Now, why is page speed important? Obviously, bounce rate being the first thing. Now, we all know that engagement signals give off signals to Google in terms of how our website performs and all that kind of stuff. So, the, the probability of your website getting a much higher bounce rate increases drastically when your website goes slower and slower. So there's some statistics on here published by HubSpot talking about the probability of bounce rate. Now, you might go, Craig, we get that. That's all, good and well. Why is that important? Now, as I say, I can't emphasize enough how important engagement signals are from an SEO point of view. If your website takes 10 seconds to load and everyone's bouncing off of that page, you're sending the most horrendous signals to Google when it comes to engagement. Your website basically looks like a piece of garbage. Now, how do you measure site speed first and foremost? Now, we will be talking later on in the show about different websites, or WebWorks is one of the ones that we're going to be looking at. Now, using a tool like gtmetrics.com allows us to initially analyze how a website's performing. Now, it will tell us a score for the website, performance, structure, largest contentful paints, and so on and so forth. Now, basically, if we go down, it will tell us potential top issues with the website and what we can do to rectify them. So GT Metrics is the first tool that I would put any website into. Now, you also have pingdom.com. You've got Google page speed insights. Now, these will tell you how your website performs. Now, what can some of these things be? So we go back to this GT metrics or a combination of the other tools. Now we can see we've got to reduce the initial server response time. We need to understand why that's taking so long. Now, there's a number of different reasons why a website may be slow. One, according to HubSpot, is choose a performance optimized hosting solution. Do not cheap out. Go for cheap, crappy hosting. That can cost you so much money in the long run. Now, personally, I use a company called WPX Hosting for my own website. Now, WPX Hosting, people say, Craig, it's just fairly expensive and so on and so forth. Now, I want to talk quickly about the importance of my own personal website loading fast. Now, I've went from host to host. Now, when I say avoid cheap hosting, it doesn't mean that expensive hosting is the best either. It's not down to money. You have to do research into the hosting company and various other factors, because anyone can charge anything. What I really liked about WPX hosting, because I host my website on WordPress, and we have Terry Kyle, an SEO guy who was sick of cheap hosting, unlimited bandwidth, and so on. Now, he struggled to find a good hosting company. The server, a server that's optimized for WordPress, a company who helps you with support. They don't understand slow server performance. They lack flexibility in features and so on and so forth. So what struck a chord with me is that Terry had experience with crap hosting. Now, he's went out his way because he really struggled and made his own hosting company. That is someone who I've used for the last 5 years. So WPX hosting is something that I personally use for WordPress. Obviously, everyone's website's different, but make sure that you get a hosting solution that does the job for you. Not just server-wise, but support-wise and experience-wise are really, really important. Second thing anyone will tell you is compress and optimize your images. Now, if I go to my website, I use a plugin called Imagify. Now, we can go here to Imagify's website and we can see that they speed up your website with lighter images. Again, I'm a WordPress user. There's a number of other tools out there if you're not using WordPress or whatever to use, but on WordPress for a lot of people, Imagify is a really good tool. Now, yes, it costs you money, and it will tell you the different packages here. Now, the features of Imagify is they will optimize your JPEGs, your PNGs, PDFs, GIFs, and it does it all for you. Now, we are all lazy people when it comes to SEO. So Imagify does the job for you. You don't need any skills. You don't need to go in to image editing tools and all that stuff. So compress your images one way or another is really, really important. So you've got various other tools like WP Smush, and there's tinypng.com, and there's a million tools for that. Now, something else that may result in slow loading speed is websites who have a number of different redirects. Now, redirects happen. I do not think it's the right thing to advise that doing redirects is instantly going to slow your website down. But as websites grow and evolve and everything, the more redirects you have, the more you're asking your server to do, going from one redirect to another, and that is going to load your make your website load a significant amount slower. So try and reduce the amount of redirects that you do. Now, caching your web pages, enable browser caching, minifying your CSS and JavaScript, HTML, and so on and so forth. I'm going to leave it at that. Now, the tool I use for that, all of those combined, would be WP Rocket. Now, what WP Rocket does is, again, helps lazy people like me do all of this at the push of a button. Now, WP Rocket, again, is a tool that I've used for a long time. Now, you will be able to see the nice settings that they've got on there. So you can go in there, you can enable caching for mobile devices, you can compress and minify your JavaScript, and so on. You can also use lazy load on your images and iframes, preload. You've got advanced rules if you want to do anything. You can also optimize your database. Now, this is really important, this little part. Now, I've got hundreds of blogs on my website. Now, each blog post might get edited. It might have an image added to it. It might have a little snippet of text changed. But in the back end of your database, you've got all these pages with thousands and thousands of revisions, because every time you make a change, it's going to save another fresh version of your page. So it's really important to clean up your database every now and again to get rid of all of this stuff, including your tables and all that kind of stuff. Now, that can all be done at the push of a button as well, which is why I massively love WP Rocket. So on top of all the other stuff, it cleans up your database as well. And as I say, you can integrate some of your tools in there as well that you might want to use. Now, I'm going to skip ahead of what blogs HubSpot are saying. You also have other things like introducing a CDN, something like Cloudflare, which again is something I would highly recommend. Now, what does a CDN do? Obviously, websites load and someone from, I don't know, let's say Eastern Europe, go onto my website, this spreads your website across all of the different Cloudflare databases, and whatever server's closest to the person searching, your website will be served from that. Now, that is really important, again, in terms of site speed, and Cloudflare is the solution to making that happen. So a CDN is something that, again, further down the list on here, it will tell you it's a content distribution network, a network of servers that help improve your page loading speed, and it uses its servers across the globe to serve your website to users. So that part is really important as well for me. Now, another thing with WordPress users, we all love a plugin. I'm recommending that you guys get Imagify, WP Rocket, and so on and so forth. Now, if you continue to add plugin after plugin, then you're going to have bloat on your website. So it's really important that you get rid of any plugins that you don't use, not just for security reasons, but also importantly, just to get rid of extra bloat on your website. So that is something that I feel is really, really important to clean up your website. Now, how many plugins is too much is a question that then comes up. If you need plugins to do your SEO stuff, like all-in-one SEO, rank math, and so on and so forth, you're going to need that stuff. Do not use this stuff in fear of, website performance. But that is where you need to get the balance right by going to the likes of GT Metrics and figure out what is the problem with your website. Now, obviously, the more you optimize for speed, your score is going to increase. Now, even if I put in my own website into GT Metrics just now and put in Craig Campbell SEO.com, you're going to see that no one's website is perfect, but we're going to see how good it performs compared to the previous website. And it'll just take a second or two to load. And the reason I'm doing this live is to show you how long it takes. It's a very quick and easy job to use these tools. It's completely free to do. Now, you'll see that my website gets a grade A. Now, of course, there is going to be certain things like avoid enormous network payloads. And I think I spoke about it last week on this particular show, that there are certain images like this one here on my website, which is the big image across the homepage, is 4.15 megabytes. That's far too big. That can still be compressed. That can still be lower. So there is still work to be done. And some of these images can be optimized further to make sure that the impact or the speed on here is even better than what it currently is. However, we can see that the website on my end is a full load time of 1.5 seconds. Now, the final part that I want to talk about is everyone becomes obsessed. And again, this is why I've got this HubSpot document. Now, if we go to the stats, how fast should a website load? For me, I would always try and get it under 2 seconds so that you're eliminating all of these three here. Now, obviously, people will still obsess on a website like mine saying, nah, 1.5 seconds is too slow. I want it to be 1.3 seconds or 1.1 second or even better, get it down to 0.4 seconds. Now, yes, you could optimize and optimize and optimize, but is there any difference when your website loads in under 2 seconds? For me, the gains that you would get from an SEO perspective are marginal. So should I reduce the quality, the look and feel of my website, and even the functionality of my website? Now, of course, that image could be doing with better work, but should I obsess and get that down another 0.4 seconds? I don't think so. I think at that point, you've done your job, you're going to help your users, your website's functioning properly, and you can go on and add content, videos, and everything else at that point. So, whilst I feel that the speed is really important, I don't think it's something that you should become too obsessed with, because you can do that to the point where you're just going to have a dysfunctional website or a website that looks really shitty. So that is really, really important to note, that you don't have to, as I say, fight over something that's going to give you very marginal gains after you've got your website loading in under 2 seconds. So that is pretty much some tips, some tools, some plugins, and some information on why it's important to make your website page speed load a hell of a lot faster.
Thanks, Greg. And did you ever look at this from an angle of like work to costs ratio?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if like
And I don't mean like, I mean financial costs, not
Yeah.
just. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, there obviously is a cost to doing this in terms of time, and obviously finances do come into it. But the cool thing for me is you can reduce a lot of your cost, a lot of time, and a lot of stress by using smart tools like WP Rocket and stuff like that. So you can shave off a lot. 5 years ago, or even longer, when these tools weren't available, you would probably pay some developer thousands and thousands of pounds to do all of this stuff for you. So I don't look at the financial implications too much now. I just think there's faster ways to do it and semi-automated ways to do it. So yeah, I don't look at the finances too much. We need to get it done, and you can do it really, at a fairly low cost using some of the tools mentioned.
So it's not a question of how much. It's just we need to get it done, and then we just cut costs as much as we can, but we're still doing it.
Yeah, of course. And that's the great thing with automation. We are cutting time, we are cutting costs, we're leveraging technology to do a lot of this stuff for us. So, as I say, as far as I'm concerned, it's a job no matter what you have to do. So just get it done, and then move on to actually making money.
So, and we have a question. Please tell about your own first mistakes and what we should avoid.
Is that in relation to speed?
Well, I guess.
Yeah, no. What mistakes in general? I'm not sure what angle you're coming from on that respect, but in terms of mistakes on speed, I have cheaped out on hosting. I have used the cheapest of hosting companies. Now, for my website, so let's say I've got a website, and I'm just going to give random figures. Let's say my website makes me £10,000 a day, e-commerce store. If I go for a cheap hosting company and my website's down for hours on end, that physically costs me money. So yes, I have went for cheap hosting. Yes, I've had a business that was small, that scaled, and I still wanted to keep the cheap hosting. But I can't afford to have cheap hosting, and also, the server, the quality of the server, the speed of the support. All of these things cannot be done when it comes to cheap hosting. Now, when we all start out, we all want hosting that costs $100 a year. And we all want a good deal, but the reality is, as you scale and grow, and you're getting traffic on a website, it's going to, you know, potentially break certain servers. So, if you've got 20,000 people coming through your website a day, you're on some hosting that costs £100 a year, I can almost guarantee that that server will collapse. Your website will be dysfunctional. You know, I'll tell a funny story. I had this guy come to me, and he was on Magento, Magento platform, e-commerce store. And he was on something like $100 a year or $200 a year hosting. Now, it's a relatively big company. The guy had spent something ridiculous like 30 or 40,000 pounds developing this website. Now, as soon as like 8 people, not even 8, like say 5 people come on, browsed that website, added something to cart, the website became dysfunctional. Now the guy's come to me, Craig, what's going on? My website, I paid all this money for it. It should be lightning fast. But people adding to cart, people browsing your website is using your server space, and the guy couldn't get his head around having to pay 300. Because my advice to him would be, dude, you're going to have to go to a hosting company, and this is the hosting company I recommend, who have a server, because Magento itself as a platform is very, very resource hungry. So the load on the server just based on Magento is crazy. So there's a company out there called UK Fast. They have servers that are optimized and built to handle large Magento e-commerce stores, but they charge $300 a month or thereabouts. And the guy, was happy to pay tens of thousands of pounds for a website, but would not pay for the hosting. So it's the equivalent of having a Ferrari and not being able to afford tires to drive the Ferrari. that, that is essentially, in layman's terms, what that guy done. Or buying a Ferrari and never had the money to fuel the Ferrari up. It's madness. So these are common mistakes that people should really consider, and a lot of these mistakes come down to cost and penny pinching.
So the lesson is, don't be Scrooge McDuck when it comes to hosting.
Exactly.
Thanks, Craig. That was great. Now we're moving on to Pranav. Welcome.
Yeah, just a second.
Pranav,
Yeah,
kick it
yeah.
off.
Great. So, Craig, I have added a lot of value today, and I hope my presentation will gives you a lot of insights about page speed. Right? Let me share my screen with you all. Hopefully my screen is visible to everyone. I have already introduced about myself. Like, I'm running agency, almost having 10 plus years of experience, right? And today I will discuss about page load time and about page speed, how exactly it works and all. Already, Craig, I have given you a lot of insights about all the things and small briefing that basically we have to understand before, like, we are trying to improve our page speed, right? And whenever someone opens your website, it takes some time, and that time, basically what we do, we try to reduce that time so we can make our user experience very much better, and they can easily either take our services or they can purchase our product, right? Basic definition I have already like shared on your screen, right? So how exactly it works, I'm just going to share with you guys. And whenever someone basically requests for a website, like any website, if we are opening any particular website, it basically received by the server. Then server basically looks back for data, and then it takes some time to load and get your data and information. Basically, three four things you generally see. First of all, you see some HTML part whenever your page start loading, or you start seeing some of the lines or information. It won't show you directly your website. You see some images, you see some content part, and then you see your overall website. It just take fraction of second, right? A fraction of second, in the sense sometime 2 second, 3 second, 4 seconds. That's what's the objective of today's session, to reduce that time. Because if you will reduce your overall time of, or if you will improve your page speed, you will definitely going to make your service better. You are definitely going to make your purchase better, right? So that's what we will discuss it today. And this diagram will gives you some idea, like it start with some server request, then your data renders on your server or on your browser, and after some time you finally see your rendered data or your final website that people can generally view. It takes in 4 or 5 steps, right? So whenever we discuss about why page speed is important, then there are few factors we have to discuss. If I talk from a SEO perspective, because I'm a SEO practitioner, and I have major experience into SEO industry, worked for a lot of clients. So what I have seen, like if website speed is low, or if it is not loading properly, what exactly will happen? Like people will leave a screen, or they will like move on any other website. Reason is very simple. Even if you like if you need any sort of services, let's suppose you are looking for a cab driver, or you are looking for a some basic like help, or you are looking for some barber, right? And for your hair cutting, what you will do, you will go on Google, you will search it, and you will find one website, or you will basically call that person, or you will basically look for that website. You will go through all the information and data, and then you basically call them. But you don't wait for like lot of time. If I have to book a cab, what I will do, I will just wait for 2 to 3 seconds to one website to load. If it won't load, I will move on any other basically website that will load faster, and I will prefer to go with that website. Reason is, your website or your web page contain a lot of information like content, images, videos, and some other call to action buttons. You have to basically make all these things very smooth, very fast, so user can easily navigate through your website or your web page, right? And they can be generally call you, or book a consultation with you, right? And if I talk from a user experience perspective, if your web page will take some time, it will create negative impressions on your user. Why I'm saying negative impression? As I said, if I have to basically hire a digital marketing consultant, or basically marketing consultant, anyone else, I will go on Google, I will search for someone, and if their website will take like 10 seconds or 12 seconds, I won't prefer to go through that website. I will prefer some any other website that is basically loading in 5 seconds or 3 seconds or 4 seconds, right? So that's why from a user experience perspective also, it is a very much important, right? Then bounce rate. If, like as I said, like if it will take 10 seconds, I will immediately bounce back from that website, and I will prefer to move on any other website. And this is the way you will lose some potential clients, or potential users, or potential orders. So you have to take care of all the things that we will discuss later on. Conversion rate. Why I'm saying conversion rate? See, I never considered page speed as a one of the top ranking factor. Haven't considered it as a top ranking factor. What I have considered, it is a very important from a lot of perspective. Yeah, it's important. It's an important ranking factor, but I'm not saying it's a top one. Even if you will keep your website 100% empty, it will gives you 100% speed, right? It will openly quickly, but your website must have data, images, information. Obviously, it will take some time to load. But if it is loading in 7 seconds, try to reduce it to 4, 3, 2, because if it will open quickly, obviously, just think about your experience, how you used to do, how you used to proceed ahead. If you are seeing any particular website, if you are clicking on any particular call to action, whether it's a booking form, whether it's a contact us form, or anything, or any call button, what is your opinion, what you used to do? You generally used to prefer to click on it, form will open, and you just put your data and just submit your data, right? If it will take some time, you will try to leave that portion. That's why, from a conversion rate perspective also, it is very important to keep your web page or page speed better, right? If I talk about like Google perspective, if your web page will load very slow, or it's a kind of it is taking 15 to 20 seconds, Google crawler will come, and obviously it will go through your HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or and all the data and information that basically crawler used to fetch mainly your HTML part. And if it will load very slower, they will use to leave your website. So that's why it's very important to keep your website very much active and very much lightning speed. I'm suggesting you few of the point that you can basically consider if you are trying to improve your page speed. First of all, you have to use some light speed server, as many experts have mentioned WPX, and even I am using WPX for many of my clients. And some good, you can also go with some good cloud services also, cloud servers also. They are also like DigitalOcean, not basic plan. You can go with some advanced plan also, and try to avoid shared server. Reason is, for cheap companies, I'm not going to name any specific company, but I will suggest you to have some good powerful hosting servers for your website or for your product based website. It's very important, right? Then apart from that, like if you are going with WordPress, we will discuss about that custom coded websites also. But specifically, if you are going with WordPress, I will recommend you to go with some lightweighted theme like GeneratePress, Astra, Cadence, and some default WordPress theme, right? Or if you are not aware of these themes, and if you don't want to go with paid version or anything, if there is any constraint in your mind, what you can basically do, you can go with some custom coded theme, and you can also ask your developers. You can hire someone, and they can easily develop one good theme and one website for you. And you have to check all the parameters and things before like giving final approval. I will share some tools and tips with you, how you can basically check your website whether it's a lightweighted or not, whether it's openly properly or not, right? So you have to take care of all these things, right? The themes I have already mentioned: GeneratePress, Astra, Cadence I haven't mentioned, and some default WordPress theme like WP 11, 12, 13. There are so many WordPress default themes also, right? And try to avoid, if possible, page builders, right? I know page builder is very much important, everyone is using it, but what I have experienced, if you are using page builder like there are a lot of WP Bakery and these page builders, it's a very like good from a layman perspective. It makes your work very much easier, but it always brings some sort of extra coding, extra stuff. Because if you are seeing your content very much you are seeing your content in a beautiful way or in a better way, that means something you are using from a coding perspective, right? So try to avoid it, try to do some in a normal way, or without using like unnecessary plugins, right? And then apart from that, what I will recommend you to basically minify your CSS. Many people use inline stuff, right? Inline is basically, if you will research about inline, means they are not using mainly files or particular stuff, right? They are basically doing open coding on their particular website. So I will recommend you, as other experts also says, like you can use WP Rocket or Cache, or you can like optimize your SCSS, HTML. Specifically, I will highly recommend you to basically minify your JavaScript file, because always, as I have shared that process also, that diagram also, maximum time your JavaScript basically takes, not HTML or CSS. HTML loads very faster. Same is with CSS also, but JS always takes some time, right? So in that case, you can basically look after your JS file and try to reduce it or minimize it. It will be very much beneficial for you. As per WordPress is concerned, if you are using some plugins, what I will recommend you to use latest plugin, less number of plugins, and try to use paid plugins. Right? Reason is, if you will use unnecessary plugins, or for every task, if you will start using plugins, your and you have a lot of tutorials available on YouTube and some on random other website that you can basically learn about some plugins and tools and all. And you can, if you will do some practice for on WordPress site, you will easily learn all the basic stuffs and information. Then images on a web pages, if you're using a lot of images like on your website, or you can use basically short pixel or imagify or WP compress. These few plugins you can use to reduce your images size. It's a very important part, because maximum time, what I have seen, if you are using any sort of tool for checking your web page speed, then you will find your images size is very like it's basically in megabytes, right, and not in small sizes. So you have to basically take care of that part. And then you can basically also take the help of CDN. CDN is very much important because it helps you in loading your website from your local areas. If I am based in Delhi, it will gives me basically my delivery network in my specific area, even in India or maybe in Delhi also, right? So that way my site will load faster, because if, let's suppose, if I am based in Delhi and my server is based in US or either in any other European countries, and if I will request to my server about opening my website, it may take a lot of time. Or, and in that case, CDN will definitely going to help me out in improving my website page speed, right? And then I have seen a lot of people use Google fonts. They use a lot of Google fonts. If you will ask your developer, and if you need some fancy fonts, what you do, you download some fonts from Google or any other third party tools, right? And these fonts include a lot of scripts, right? In that case, you see your web page is not loading properly and you are facing a lot of issues and all, right? And then like as I said, in specifically in case of font, you have to be a bit careful. I'm not saying don't use fonts, definitely use it, but if you will follow, if I'm giving you 10 suggestion, you can follow 7 or 8 suggestion, right? As I said, it's not mandatory to like keep your web page speed 2 seconds. It's sometimes it's not possible also, right? If you have a lot of images and some data and information, in that case 3.5 is also fine, right? It's not mandatory to like keep it like 1 second, because if you are like going with some basic server and all, yeah, if you are going with some high level server, then definitely it will makes your task very much easier and it will become 2 seconds, right? So we have to understand all the if else, because it involves some costing also. If you are basically going with some plugins or some buying some images and some information, or using some theme that is basically, actually even theme brings a lot of, WordPress theme brings a lot of coding stuff. That's why I have recommended you some basic themes that is good from my perspective. And you can do your research part also before like going with any specific themes. As per cache is concerned, you have to basically use some decent tools for managing your cache, specifically WP Rocket or total cache. And there are some other plugins also, but these are basically recommended plugins, right? And as I said, remove extra videos. If your website is having extra videos, extra files, unnecessary, you are putting a lot of informations, then you can basically reduce it and you can basically keep it short. I will discuss on, once I will back on my screen, I will discuss about this tool also, that page speed insights, because we are discussing about page speed. That's why this tool play a very important role, and I will share one or two websites also, right? And that will gives you some idea. This tool is very much important. Here you are seeing this tool is giving some idea and information how to reduce and reduce your information and all. If you are basically a solopreneur or freelancer or working on an individual basis, There are few highly few suggestions from my end. Use some light-weighted themes I have mentioned before. And also, if you are working on your client projects, what I will suggest you to basically don't try to work on a lot of redirections, as redirection makes your task very much I, I will share that point also when I will back on my screen, right? Then you can also basically, if you are not familiar with WordPress, you can go with some basic HTML based website. HTML is basically very good if you are specifically dealing in service industry, not about talking about blogging or that part, because for blogging I always prefer to have WordPress or some other platforms. But if you are like basic running a small agency, or you are working as a freelancer, or just need a portfolio website, then HTML based website is very much good. It's a very quickly it loads, and try to use more HTML and CSS and try to use less JavaScript. I know JavaScript makes your website very much look rich, but still we have to understand this point, because page speed is very much important. And WP Rocket and some good cache plugins, as I have already shared with you. And if you have any sort of queries and questions, you can also discuss with me on hello@pranavjha.com. Now let's get me back to my screen and share some of the stuff that I have basically prepared for you. As I'm sharing this website, like page speed insights, right? And this website is basically worked by one of my very close friend, right? Nazim Ansari, right? And this website, it is also basically using WPX hosting. And I have also shifted a lot of website on WP hosting, because it makes my task very much easier. If you can see page speed insight, I am putting this website or any specific pages also, because we are basically not discussing about web page speed, we are discussing about page speed, because page speed is very much important. If you will open any specific page also, in that case also you can basically put your website and you can check all the data and information. And you can see it like this website is getting a decent amount of response, and some it is still loading, I guess, right? And it will show you all the information. It is not taking much time. It is hardly taking first contentful paint. You can see it is showing first impression within 1.6 second, and largest contentful paint means it is taking 2.3 second, means maximum data, like all the data and information, it is loading within 2.3 to 3 seconds. This kind of website is very good from a SEO perspective. If you are basically SEO practitioner and working for on any of your client projects, or any of your projects, or any of your affiliate website, you can easily figure out what kind of challenges you have. This tool will gives you a lot of insight. As you can see, it is giving all the insights. And if you are seeing something is taking time, you can basically work on these areas, as it is already suggesting some images and some few of the information that is blocking server request and all your server related issues. All these you can figure out here. As I always said, JavaScript always takes some time. Even here you can see JavaScript is one of the reason. CSS again is one of the reason, right? And these reasons, if you will basically improve it, your website will perform much better. And as I have suggested few of the themes, you can see it like generate press. This theme is not much expensive also. It's a very lightweighted theme. Recently I have done work for a lot of my client on this theme. This theme makes your task very much easier, and their pricing is also low. And now, even if you guys are familiar, Black Friday is also coming. You guys can all obviously take these tools like WP Rocket or Generate Press or Cadence or Astra theme or any other theme, right? That is basically helpful or basically improving your overall experience. You can invest some money to make your website or your overall user experience much better from that perspective, right? And apart from that, I have like also received this request to basically give some insights about this particular website. Already Craig have given some good useful information about this website. Just what I have found, some basic things I am sharing, because already Craig have shared some ideas and insights. What I have seen in this website, they have good UI user experience overall. But what I am seeing, like, this information can be put somewhere else because it is somehow diluting this focus point, right? You can bring it down or somewhere else, right? And apart from that, as I was checking on SEMrush also, like, their backlink count is very higher, but referring domain is very less, right? So that can be figured out, like, why referring domain is too less. And because these days you will see a lot of spammy links is basically associating with your website. Many SEO experts will agree with this point, like, majorly, like, a lot of spammy links or some sites that is basically giving you idea of like site worth and anything else. You can basically avoid such kind of links that is not useful for your business, and you can try to increase your referring domain count, because already I am seeing you are getting some sort of organic traffic. But for improving it, try to build some quality links, try to focus more on, because this niche is having traffic. If I talk about data centers and all, this niche is having decent traffic, right? In that case, you can basically overall put more effort on your blogging part, or on your user experience better, and you will get a decent response from this uh, overall website. Yeah, that's it from my side. I have shared some information and ideas from my end. If you have any sort of queries and question, you can definitely ask me. I would love to take your questions, and definitely love to reply your queries and answers.
Thanks, Pranav. Yeah, we have one question. Maybe you can add something more. Like, can you suggest some good hosting server to go with? Like with, I guess.
Yes, I have already recommended WPX hosting is good, and some cloud server also, like
Mhm.
DigitalOcean is good. And but not talking about basic part, but if I talk about their like higher packages, you can definitely go with that part, and it will definitely improve your overall website speed or your web page speed.
And what should you pay attention to when you choose a hosting server? If you have no
Uh,
recommendation, you're just out there, you're looking for it. What should you pay attention?
Lightspeed server plays a very important role. Specifically, I'm going with that, right? And apart from that, I always check few of my, even I have shared like Blogger Passion, that website. I used to check my competitors website, what kind of hosting they are using, some industry experts website, because there are so many tools are available in market. You can easily put any website, and you can check what kind of hosting they are using, right? And then compare their, like, they used to mention all the information and data about their websites and all, and you can go through all this
Mhm.
information and data, and it gives you a lot of insights about like hosting packages and what kind of resources they are giving you, right? And then obviously pricing, you compare all the things and information.
And what's your take on GT Matrix or Page Insight? Which one is better?
I will see. GT Matrix is one of the finest tool in market, but Google is basically focusing a lot of information from a core web vitals perspective on page insights, right? So page speed, specifically page speed tool that you can use. Even I have shared on my screen also. That tool, you can basically go through it, and it will gives you a lot of. But if I have to pick, I will go with page speed or page insight.
Great. Oh, thank you for your presentation, for your
Yeah.
commentary. Craig, would love to welcome you.
No problem.
What do you have to say about WebWorks?
Web
Our
web. So let me just share my screen again. And let's have a look at WebWorks. So, like Pranav said, I'm not going to touch too much more on the backlinks side of things. I think Pranav was very, on point when he says far too many backlinks. Referring domains looks a bit suspicious. Your organic search has stayed stable for the past few years. Now, one thing I want to touch on about your backlinks is the use of anchor text on your backlinks. For me, we have to vary your anchor text. You've got to potentially use a naked URL. You want to use some branded search. You want to have some partial match keywords in there. the use of the anchor text on this, for me, is bizarre. You know, it's bizarre to say the least for a company that provides these services. So I think in terms of anchor text, when it comes to your backlinks as well, you want to work on that and make it a little bit better. Now, obviously, backlinks and everything else would be the last thing that I would consider at the moment. And the reason being is that I feel that the website itself, in terms of foundation, now, again, Pranav said it's a great looking website. It is really nice, a really nice looking website. But when we look at the basic site audit fundamentals, we will see that it gets a 69% score, which is really poor. Now, I just want to talk about some of the most important things. Now, we have confirmed that this website loads really slowly. You know, not just the website itself, but 345 pages on the website load really slowly. We have 55 images on the website that are broken. Again, why you would go to the expense of having a nice looking website and then have 55 images broken is really important. Now, also, you've got 9 issues with mixed content. Now, basically, that is when you've previously not had an SSL certificate. Now, yes, on your main website, you do have your SSL on there, but the blog resource doesn't for some reason. So you would want to make sure that your SSL is installed properly on your subdomain. You also have broken pages. You also don't have a redirect or canonical from the HTTPS to the HTTP version. Now, SEMrush obviously tells you why and how to fix that. Now, that is, I can't highlight the importance of this small little thing. Is really important. You know, that is supposed to resolve. And if you don't, you're shooting yourselves massively in the foot. Now, obviously, when it comes to warnings, it's going to warn us about site speed, compressing images, compressing JavaScript and CSS. You have, you know, a few other minor errors. I wouldn't worry too much about these, but when it comes to meta descriptions, you've got pages that don't have meta descriptions. Now, I'm not saying meta descriptions are important from an SEO point of view as such, but they help with click-through rate. I think it's good standard practice to use the best possible meta descriptions for your pages. To me, when I see this, it just means the website's not been optimized properly. Now, going on to other warnings and stuff like that as well, in terms of site architecture, having a page that's more than 3 clicks away from your homepage would tell me that you don't understand internal linking, you don't understand site architecture, you don't understand how Google works and being able to retain your pages in the index. So that there is very, very important. And to have 553 pages, that would give me concern. Now, you obviously have 570 pages that only have one incoming internal link. Now, internal linking is important. You know, obviously, in terms of an SEO point of view, you want to be using an internal linking structure to pass power around your website to other pages. Now, on top of that, you know, it allows Google to crawl and index your website more frequently. So there's a number of different reasons why internal linking is important. So again, that's something that I feel is really, really important. Now, finally, going on to the content on, you know, your services. I'm just going to take virtual private clouds. Now, the header of this page, according to your navigation bar, is virtual private clouds. Your title tag is fine. But there's a small amount of text here. There's no internal link. There's nothing here. I would be expecting to see better on-page SEO. I would be looking to add a bit more substance to this. Even if it's the benefits, FAQs, whatever it might be, I think content-wise, I think the website is kind of weak. Now, also on top of that, we look at the blog posts on the website quickly. Now, when it comes to research and targeting the right choice and keywords, some of the stuff here clearly is fine. Common mistakes when cloud migration and so on and so forth. But what the hell is fog computing? Now, there's some stuff here that has been written, and I don't feel that it's targeting the best choice in keywords. Now, the articles themselves, the subheadings, and so on and so forth are good. And obviously, there's internal links on this blog post as well. However, when you look at some of these, you just ask yourself, what keyword can these guys possibly be targeting to drive in business to this website? So I think having a look through some of these, yes, some are fine. Some I would be questioning in terms of what the keyword targeting was. Now, obviously, business continuity in today's volatile world, is that something that is targeting a keyword that's going to bring in traffic and people to use your services? I'm not so sure. So yeah, things like that are really important, and these are things that I would just be questioning. If I was asked to do SEO on this website, I think basic fundamentals of site speed, making the website work, images all working properly, redirects in place, and all that kind of good stuff are really, really important. So that is obviously something you can get from SEMrush. If you put the website in, it will tell you a lot of the stuff to try and improve this site health, if you like. And as I say, I think in terms of your backlinks, better quality links, better use of anchor text, and I think on-page wise, you want to consider what's going on there and optimize a little bit better. So, a great looking website. I think it's now time to obviously see that we can see, a blind man can see that you do a lot of paid ads. That is where the majority of your traffic is coming from. I think you have to try and get more from your SEO efforts, and I think doing those things will certainly help you grow your traffic.
Thanks, Craig.
No worries.
Pranav, Craig, thank you for the broadcast. It was great, wonderful to hear you. So very useful. So that's it. That's the end of our show today. I appreciate you visiting us, being with us, and enlightening our audience on the subject. So, bye to you guys. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, same here.
And we're moving to a closing part. So we're gonna have, it's our fourth broadcast, and we're gonna hand out, send you your tasks to gain extra points in our SEO challenge. So it's gonna be about loading speed. So you're gonna have to improve the loading time on the main page of your project, of any project, to at least 70 points. We're going to check the tasks at pagespeed.web.dev. And please pay attention, it's going to be, this task is for desktop versions only. You're going to get 3,000 extra points. And we'll see you on our next broadcast. It was great to have you here. Bye.